Dow Chemical just announced they are going to lay off 4,500 jobs. Guys, that's 13% of their total workforce. And these layoffs are expected to generate over $2 billion in additional operating earnings. Show me the money, right? But what's interesting to me is the reason why. The reason why is always the most important thing. They are putting more emphasis on AI and automation to replace work. But don't just take my word for it. Listen to their press release here where they announced the initiative to, quote, transform to outperform. You gotta love that corporate talk, right? Transform to outperform. They say, quote, transform to outperform targets the addition of at least $2 billion in near-term operating EBITDA, in part by utilizing AI and automation to deliver step change in growth and productivity and improve shareholder returns. AI and automation, guys, we are seeing it all over the place. But the real question here is who's going to be impacted by this AI and automation? Which jobs are on the line? We'll get to that in a moment. Hold that thought, because I want to share this additional quote from the CEO, Jim Fitterling. He says, quote, transform to outperform will drive significant simplification in how work gets done, aimed at ensuring Dow's continued global leadership by leveraging best-in-class cross-industry processes and leading-edge technologies. This will further accelerate measures we have already taken to address the prolonged trough of structural industrial changes. I think, for me, that quote, what really stands out in that quote is this idea of significant simplification in how work gets done. That's AI and automation, how work gets done. And then also emphasizing that with the quote about leading edge technologies. But there may also be other reasons for these cost measures, which are notated. Stagnant demand, rising production costs in Europe, changing regulatory requirements, and there's a persistent global oversupply of the products that they provide. These are all additional challenges, especially in Europe. I mean, I don't know if you guys, you probably do, you follow politics in the news, but it seems to me that, I don't know what Europe is doing. In fact, recently, Germany kind of announced that, hey, we kind of screwed things up over here. We overregulate ourselves to death. We can't actually manufacture anything anymore. We're buying all our oil from Russia. What the hell are we doing over here? So at any rate, I would say that those are definitely challenges to what Dow Chemical is trying to do. And I'm not going to get into the whole oil and macroeconomics and climate change. I'm not even going to get into all that. What I want to focus on, what we want to focus on in this video is, okay, Dow Chemical is laying off a ton of people. Why are they doing it, and who is going to be impacted? Well, they say, again, it's because of AI and innovation. That said, there's a lot of potential reasons that they're not being transparent about. So it's really hard to say whether they're truly replacing humans with AI, or if this is just corporate speak and signaling for we're doing awesome, we're doing better than ever, we're innovating for the future, we're gonna be a forward-thinking company. We've seen this a lot. And if you're subscribed to the channel, you would have known months ago that companies are doing this. All over the place. They are laying off people and saying it's not because they're doing poorly or they have challenges or issues. They're doing it because they're forward-thinking and they're adapting and they're more efficient than ever. And in a lot of cases, stockholders will react to this. The Dow Jones will react to this. The S&P will react. The NASDAQ will react. Not always. In some cases where these AI layoffs happen, it doesn't boost stock, but sometimes it does. But let's just double click on this idea of AI at Dow, because Dow Chemical is already using AI in a lot of places. They're using AI for advanced analytics, machine learning, and process automation. All this stuff is already in place. And one of the things that we had mentioned earlier in our quote from Jim was that this idea of end-to-end process simplification. What that means, guys, end-to-end process simplification means back office, white collar work being replaced by, again, AI, automation, these other types of process. That's what this end-to-end process automation means. And this is something that you need to be considering in your job role, because this is, again, a common theme, guys. We're seeing these rhythms and these rhymes between all these big companies for the reasons that they are doing these layoffs. And one of the most common reasons they give is this idea of simplifying this end-to-end back office work, this end-to-end process simplification. So what does that mean? Who is really impacted on that? Like, how do we read between the lines? Well, this is looking at departments like finance, accounting, supply chain planning, HR, procurement. And I mean, we've seen huge layoffs in HR. I actually covered this in a video a little while ago. McDonald's has used AI and automation to screen 64 million job applications. So HR is being completely routed. And I know you guys are really gonna miss Karen from HR telling you what you did and did do right and telling you that your wardrobe is not appropriate. I know you're gonna miss her, but she's cooked. I don't know what else to tell you. HR is gone. And in my world, sales and marketing, that's also seeing a big punch. I mean, we covered this in a video a couple days ago as well. I'll post a link to it here. Autodesk basically just said, hey, we're just gonna kind of churn out a bunch of our salespeople. We're AI, the customization we get from AI and chatbots, all the ad platforms are all doing AI. I was earlier this week optimizing a Meta ad campaign and a Google ad campaign. And some of the stuff that you see in these ad platforms is they have all this AI automation, automation plus, et cetera. And they want to use this AI backend to optimize the ads. But in a lot of cases, that type of AI optimization is actually not optimal. It may seem that way, but long story short, there's things that you are going to want to turn off. And every time you turn off one of these AI softwares, it'll like downgrade the quote quality of your ad. And so again, if you're a novice, you might think, oh, I got to turn on all the AI features in order to get the best return on investment, which is not always the case. You don't always necessarily get a better return on ad spend or customer acquisition cost return than all. Anyway, I'm kind of going a little bit off target. The fact of the matter is that you start to see all these white collar jobs being replaced with AI and automation. So what does that mean for you? What does that mean for you? Why should you care? Why should we care? Guys, we're guys. We want to remain relevant, respected, and financially free. We want to provide for our families. We want to have relevancy. We don't want to just be UBI. We don't want to just wake up in the morning and just get a paycheck from the government. We've seen how that, I covered this in a video a little while ago as well. You don't know what the government is or isn't going to compensate you for. You need to have value in this world. Again, we covered the SNAP benefits. If you were saying, well, the government's going to provide me with food, I don't need a job. I don't need to remain relevant, respected, and financially free. Well, if the government, if whoever it is, Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, whatever, if a new government comes in, they say, hey, we just can't afford these SNAP benefits anymore, go fish, you're cooked. I can't afford that, guys. I got a family. I got to remain relevant. So what does that mean for you? Assuming you're like me and you don't just want to rely on someone else to provide for you, you want to make sure that you have value in this world. Again, as men, we put a lot of our value in our image, in our self-worth, in what we're able to do, in the respect that we get from our peers. At least I do. Anyway, what does that mean for you? Here's the way that I would think about it. This is the way that I'm thinking about my value to either bosses or clients that I'm working with. You are the profit center. You are a profit center in your jobs. And what I ask myself, and again, what you should ask yourself, if your boss or if your clients ask you what you do and how you provide value, what do you say? What do you say to that? And I would encourage you to think about it quantitatively, not just like, oh, I get on calls with clients and I record videos on YouTube, or I make the coffee. Don't think about it in a kind of like, this is what I feel like I do, but think about it quantitatively, because we are in a new world of AI and data and analytics. Everything is a math problem. When it comes to business, when it comes to dollars and cents, everything is a math problem. Does that make sense? Everything is a math problem. It's all about conversions. If you're a salesperson, it's how many meetings do you get on? How many no-shows do you have? How many of those meetings do you close? What's the lifetime value of every person that you close? Right? If you're a builder, how many homes do you build? What are what are the expenses to build it? What politician do you have to pay off in order to get regulatory approval? You know what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying, right? Everything is a math problem. And so you need to think of yourself as a math problem and as a number, because at the end of the day, when you're talking about big companies like Dow or Microsoft or Amazon or any company, it's gonna be about dollars. It's gonna be about bottom lines. How much money am I making? What are my expenses? And the reality is that human beings are typically gonna be about 60% of a company's expenses. We are very, very expensive. We're messy. We are unreliable at times, we get sick, we have emotional issues, but we're still awesome. Don't get me wrong, humans are amazing. A world with no humans is not a world I want to live in. I want lots and lots of humans. So think about yourself that way. What's the value you provide in a quantitative way? Quantitative way. I think that's really, really important. And then the second question you need to ask yourself, the question I ask myself, is how can I use AI better? What are the problems that I'm solving? And how can AI help me solve those problems better, faster, more effectively? How can I automate them? This is really, really important. And even if you feel like AI is a scam or it's not that impressive or it's overrated, I feel you there. I'm open to that argument. I definitely think there's companies that are over relying on AI and it's gonna bite them in the butt. We've seen that in the past with Klarna. That might be an issue with Salesforce. Again, stuff that we've covered, and if you've subscribed to the channel, you would already be aware of these issues because we're covering them 6 days a week. But the point I'm trying to make here is that despite your preconceived notions or ideas about AI, here's the bottom line. Companies are spending tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars on this technology, and they are highly motivated to make sure that it's going to work out. They need it to work out. If the AI doesn't work out, they're gonna be bankrupt. They're gonna have wasted tons and tons of capital on something that doesn't work. So by you being someone who thinks of yourself as a quantitative value add to your organization, as someone who's executing on AI, knows how to speak AI, knows how to leverage different tools, you know the tools that are effective, you're using them, you're testing them, you become even more valuable to your clients and to your organization. So in my book, when I start to see these types of trends, and again, what's happening at Dow, I wanna make sure that I understand my value to my organization so that I'm safe. I wanna make sure I understand and can quantitatively explain the value that I bring to my clients. I want all of that. And I also want to make sure that I'm keeping up with the latest trends when it comes to AI, because there's too much money involved. It's too big to fail at this point. And at the very worst, at the very least, you're going to get a lot of experience and knowledge in the most revolutionary technology of our time, okay? That's all I've got to say about that. Guys, if you like the video, smash the like button, and you'll definitely, if you like this video, you will definitely like yesterday's video. Amazon sent out an email that prematurely reassured 16,000 people that their jobs were safe, but they weren't. 16,000 people got laid off and they didn't even know it. Go check out yesterday's video. You're gonna be shocked at what happened at Amazon, and also the lesson that we can learn about AI in that position. All right, boys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.